Check.
The basic idea is that there's a groove that I can follow that's exactly right for exactly right for
Sometimes when I try to reason, you don't seem to listen at all. I don't know if it's just a feeling, or if we are about to fall. Yeah, come on. We'll come back, stand fast, stand fast. We'll come back, but I know we're stronger if we stay here longer. We'll come back, but I we'll come back. I'll find us another treasure. Yeah, come on. To hold on to through the storm. And I know love is hard to measure, but with you I can see its form. Yeah. We'll come back, stand fast, stand fast. We'll come back, but I know we're stronger if we stay here longer. We'll come back, but I we'll come back, stand fast, stand fast. We'll come back, but I know we're stronger if we stay here longer. We'll come back, but I we'll come back.
Okay. How you doing? Okay. Took me a while to answer that, though. Where's that pool hall you're standing in front of? Sure. Yeah. How long do you need? Is it okay? Is it just me, or is it going to be anybody else? Okay. 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 Is the way I have this phone propped up? Is this okay? Okay. Let me. Okay. How's that? Back at her. I can. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm proud of you. Okay. Thank you. Sure. No, I don't want to. Maybe later. No, just it's sad to hear about House of Billiards, and I don't know whether that was Gary's intent to not reopen the whole time, or he had maybe he's got it for sale and he sold it, or who knows what happened. Yes. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It's been a while.
Hey everyone, this is Daniel with POVPOOL. Welcome back. to the channel, to YouTube here, streaming live actually. And I'm joined by Jerry Matchin. He's the owner of Stiix Billiards. His pool room, Stiix with two eyes, is located in Ventura, California, right on Main Street. And he's been in business for a long time. Actually, when did you start? When did you open the place? 92, you said?
Believe it or not, I opened the doors November 9th, 1993.
93.
So 27 years.
27 years ago. So, wow.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'd like to hear that story, actually.
Sure.
Tell it.
Well, let me get back to the beginning. So, I tried to be a pool player when I was a young kid, and in short order, after a few years, up and down, scuffling around, I realized I wasn't going to be good enough to make a living at it.
Mhm.
So I was looking for work, and a buddy of mine told me that the post office was actually hiring, and another buddy told me that the county hospital was hiring. So I put applications in both organizations,
Yeah.
not having any, I think I was 19, not any background in anything. And the hospital called me first
Mm-hmm.
and said, "We have a job for you as an orderly,
Uh-huh.
and would you like it?" And I said, "Yes." And then, within a day or two, the post office called me and said, "You passed your test, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We have a job for you, entry level job, probably letter carrier or something like that."
Yeah.
And I actually wanted to go to the post office because it paid a little bit more. It paid $20 a month more. I made $340 a month at the hospital. It would have paid $360 a month at the post office. Big money.
Yeah.
And
That's like
but
that's like a
because
day rate now.
I know, but because I made the commitment to to go to work at the hospital, I said, okay, I'm going to go to work there.
Yeah.
And I worked as an orderly for about, this is 1969, about a year and a half, and then this beautiful girl, graduate nurse, came to work there, and I went to a hospital party and started dating her,
Okay.
and she's now my wife after almost 40 something years.
Wow. Hold on.
So,
Hold on. I think I'm getting a little bit of these guys are saying they can't hear me very well. Hopefully that's a little better, guys. Check one. All right. Go ahead. Please continue.
okay, so I worked at the hospital as an orderly and went to school and became an RN myself, and kind of slowly progressed up the management ladder. And in the late 80s, anticipating that I might be retiring within 10 years or so,
Uh-huh.
I started looking for a pool room, and I found one. And two partners of mine and I bought an existing room in Orange County. The name of the room was called Fezziwigs. It was a real rock'em sock'em place, lots of video games, like 50 video games. We did
Yep.
a hell of a business.
That's back in the day when video games were like
Yeah,
booming, right?
we
Like
had a street. Yeah,
the stand up, you know,
we had a Street
standalone
Fighter.
video games.
We had a Street Fighter 2 tournament in there, $10 entry fee, and we had 400 kids show up for the tournament. Single
Wow.
elimination, one game elimination.
Street Fighter. Wow.
$10 entry fee. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
But like a lot of things that happen, your friends aren't always your best partners. And so we started squabbling about stuff. I wanted to add more staff, and they, wanted to really try to just maximize profits.
Uh-huh.
And so after about 2 years or so, I just said, you know what, make me an offer. If I like it, I'll sell my share. So they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of the business, and I was kind of disappointed that it didn't work out. And so now it's like 1992, and my wife says, "You know what? We're going to probably retire up in the Ventura County area, Ojai. That's where she's
Mm-hmm.
from." She says, "Why don't you start looking for a place up there as a retirement project?" And so I did, and I found the building that we're in now. Got a really good deal on the rent. After about 6 years, I was able to make an offer to the landlord. He took the offer to buy the building, and I bought the building in around 1998 or 99, somewhere in there. and then I retired in 2008
From nursing.
from the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a registered nurse, I worked there about 39 years, and I've been in business ever since, and raised a family, and there you go.
Yeah, you got quite a family too. You just went to South Carolina, didn't you?
I did. My son is a professor in neurolinguistics at the University of South Carolina. He's been renting an apartment out there for a couple of years.
Okay.
I've been leaning on him to buy a house, and the interest rates got so low. I said, "Look, you got to do it now, or forget about it."
Uh-huh.
And he had some money saved, so he bought a home there, a nice home for 250,000, 2.5% interest. He's paying less on his mortgage than he did for his rent. And I went back and helped him move in a couple weeks ago, and I'm back now.
So that's an interesting subject actually. What's it like traveling right now? Because you flew out there to South Carolina, right?
I did. I went first class on Delta to Charlotte, North Carolina. I couldn't get a nonstop to Columbia. I had to do a layover in either Atlanta or Houston,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to go into the airport any more than I had to. I read an article about the air handling capabilities of most of these commercial jets, and I guess about every 2 to 3 minutes, the entire air exchange is complete inside the jet,
Okay.
and the HEPA filters on those airplanes is pretty good. It's like 99% of everything gets screened out.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty safe about flying. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen in the airport, like the TSA line and things like that. And my worst fears were out there. The TSA line was just
You broke up a
backed
little
up.
bit.
I'm sorry.
You broke up slightly there.
Okay, are you okay now?
Yeah, we're good now.
So I'm in the airport, and the TSA line was long, and we're right on top of each other. Of course,
Yeah.
we're wearing face coverings.
Right.
I didn't like that. Standing around the gate, waiting to board. Everybody is on top of everybody wanting to get in, and the plane was 100% full, going and coming. I had taken a COVID test, just before I left, and when I got back after 4 days, I waited 2 or 3 days, and I took another COVID test, and everything was fine. And then
Okay.
3 or 4 days again after that, I took another COVID test, and it's fine. So I'm COVID free. So I feel fortunate about that.
So like traveling around the country right now seems pretty accessible. Like you're not like getting temperature checks everywhere and people questioning you or anything like that.
The TSA person asked me if I had a temperature. They didn't check it. I said I didn't, which I didn't.
Okay.
And in South Carolina, it's a lot more open than it is out here in Southern California.
Yeah.
The face mask and social distancing thing is about maybe 50% of what we have out here. My son is very well aware of all that, and he took us to places where we either ate outdoors or we ate at the back of the restaurant, at least 30 or 40 feet away from people,
Right.
other diners. And so that was okay. And I spent most of my time with him in his house and helping him move and arrange furniture and whatnot.
Okay.
One point I want to make about that trip. So Friday was an open day. We had a
Okay.
dinner engagement that night, and he says, "Well, Dad, I found this pool room in Lexington, South Carolina called Grady's."
Great.
And I thought, "Is that
Grady
Matthews?"
Matthews. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, "Is that Grady?" I said, "Let's go."
Yeah.
So I went there, a nice room. Uh, Nobody was wearing face coverings.
Yeah.
Not the bartender, no one else.
Okay.
I did. My son did. Walked around, stayed a couple hours, talked to people, had a good time, but we didn't get too close, and left.
Wow. So I'm glad you made it back safe,
Yeah, I am too.
So you own Stiix, it's in Ventura. You're still closed.
Yes.
But you own the building, so you're like a unique kind of situation. You don't have to like worry about a landlord or anything like that, but you still have overhead to worry about. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
but you're kind of like unique in that situation because not a lot of people own the rooms anymore
Yeah.
like they used to back in the 60s and 70s. So did you hear about Santa Monica House of Billiards
Well, yes. After you and I talked
is
yesterday.
closing? Yeah, for
Yeah.
good.
That's very sad. That room's been there a long time. I probably played in that room in the middle to late '60s many times, and then over the years, a
In the
great
60s.
great
Wow.
room for one pocket. Good players,
I
Wayne
know.
Fulham and
Yeah.
Richie Grenier and several others, Tall Phil.
Yeah. Well, they
And
weren't there in the 60s, but
no, they weren't. They weren't.
Limo Bob might have been there in the
Demo
60s.
Bob was probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go there. I went there when I was 19.
Okay.
I'd go there and Hollywood Billiards. That would be
Right.
like I'd go West Side, East Side, and because Hollywood Billiards was 24 hours, and House of Billiards you'd get that afternoon crew, that morning
Yeah.
crew. So like pool junkie that I was when I was 19. I'd hop back and forth between those rooms, and that was for me. It was must have been 1990, 1989. I'm 51 now, so
Right.
but it's terribly sad to hear that place is closing permanently. I mean, I know they were trying to sell the building about 3 years ago, and they were asking like an exorbitant amount, and whether or not they were selling it for it to transition into something else, we will never know. But now they are closed, and thanks COVID.
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I think the number I heard was $12 million for the entire building and the side business that's there that's rented, and he's got a huge parking lot in back.
yeah,
And he did have some offers, but they wanted to demolish the site and put condos in there. And I heard that Santa Monica has a height of 2 stories
yeah.
for new construction, including condos and whatnot. And so uh, I believe that the people that made the offer just couldn't see how they were going to come out of that with that kind of money and make any money on the deal.
So there's two House of Billiards too. There's one in Sherman Oaks. You know this. I don't.
Yes.
I'm not like trying to educate you, but you know, there's one in Sherman Oaks, and I know the owner there, and he passed it on kind of to his son Ben, Larry,
Okay.
and Ben kind of changed the image of the place. It's more like a brew house, like a craft beer kind of
Right.
pool, but it's got the same amount of. The place hasn't changed at all except for the menus and like the beer sort of like
Yeah.
decorations that are all around the place. It's got that kind of old English kind of look,
Okay.
Um, and I don't know what they plan on doing because I don't even know if they're open over there. If they try to go, open, they sort of serve food, but it's not a full restaurant. It's one of those.
Right.
It's just like toasted sandwiches or whatever. But and then we have other rooms that are gone down. Stiix Billiards in Rancho Cucamonga is closed,
Right.
and closed permanently. Broken Rack, Emeryville. I mean, it's really sad to see these pool rooms closing in California. But then we have like the rest of the country. It's like business as usual out there.
Yeah, that's
I
beginning
mean, that's what
to-
I'm hearing.
yeah. I have one of the best players in the country is on the Moscone Cup, raised in my room, Chris Robinson. I think many of your viewers, yourself, Chris well,
Yeah.
and he got sick back there a while back.
Okay. So yeah, he went to that tournament in Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he was sick. And he was sick, was he?
yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean,
you know-
I heard others got sick too. I don't want to gossip, but honestly,
no.
I just feel like if you're sick, you should probably come forward and talk about it. At least
Yeah,
I mean, I know you got a lot on the line. You're going to the Moscone Cup. You know, you're going to have to go to Europe and do 2 weeks of quarantine, just, you know, to level out and make sure. I mean, I think that's the curriculum. Those are the
He's fine.
requirements.
He's fine. He's fine now. He's fine.
Yeah. Um, but I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that these people should probably step forward and say like, "Hey, I got the Rona."
Yeah, you know, everyone's got to do what they feel comfortable about. You know,
Okay.
I certainly don't think anyone should be sick, even with this standard flu, and be around others anyway. You know, as a nurse, I would not ever advocate doing that. So, you know, everyone's got to do what they have a comfort level with. I'm not passing any judgment on that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just there was a tournament in Texas, right? And then they're actually where several people got it. They're actually having a women's event. I'm not going to say the name of the place, but they're having a women's event.
I didn't know that.
This coming weekend, 22nd and 21st. And then no, that's not. Yeah, that's this weekend. And then last weekend you had the APT had their Virginia State 8-ball championship, and then you had a Viking Q's Q City 7 9-ball stop in South Carolina, and then in Massachusetts you had another event, which was the Northeast 9-ball series they had, and then you've got a big event about to happen in Florida. 150 players, and they're all very high caliber players, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, you have, for those people that are pool players, and the top group of that 150, there's probably 15 players or a few more perhaps that can win that event. The money's pretty serious for them, and they have no money coming in. And I get why they want to play. I do understand that, and take the risk. We don't know when this COVID thing, well, you and I have talked about this many times. We don't know when this is going to be over. I always thought it would be over by Christmas.
Yeah.
Or before, perhaps in the summer, and it doesn't look like it now.
Yeah.
And it looks like this could go into next summer, or perhaps even later.
Well, look,
the vaccine.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The vaccine is critical for this. Our sport is dying right now. People want to play. They want to compete. They want to be around their friends. All that is, you know, important. And
well, things look good on the horizon. There's like this vaccine that's coming around, and you know, things are looking better on the horizon. But look, I don't have a problem with it either, right? Like, go and play. Promoters, run your tournament. Do what you got to do. But the fact of the matter is like, you've got to not be ashamed of this disease. If you catch this virus,
no, not at
you
all.
should come forward, because you know, the protection of other people is so important right now. And I'll tell you something that's really got me upset right now. Everybody's walking around saying this is like the flu, and this is we're gonna have to deal with it like it's the flu, and it doesn't kill that many people, and that many people. Look, I don't care about that, but right now, this particular second wave that we're having is filling up the hospitals. My mother needs heart surgery, and the doctors can't even think about scheduling her for 2 weeks because the hospitals are backed up with COVID.
Yeah.
Right. You're missing. If you think it's about this is like the flu or this is not going to kill me, you're missing the point completely.
Right.
You know, we're talking about hospitals filling up with COVID patients right now, and hospitals afraid to take other people with incidental issues because of COVID.
Right.
So that, you know, like people like my mother, you know, now I'm being selfish because it's my mom. But, you know, I know there are other people out there too that are having the same issue with they've got a friend, a relative, or even themselves. They can't go and see a doctor because COVID has told them like, well, we've got to like be really careful. We can't see anybody right now. You know, and I'm worried, man. I'm worried for my mother right now.
Absolutely.
You know.
A case in point, we have Thanksgiving coming up next week, and my wife and I have hosted a large gathering at our house for a really long time, 30 years, more than that, 40 years. And we have friends and family, and oftentimes we'll have 30 people at the house.
Hmm.
And this year, we told our kids, don't come down. Um, Told my son not to fly out. It's going to be my wife and myself
Yeah.
and another friend, an older friend. That's it this year. So that's painful, and
Yeah.
that's painful for everybody.
Hmm.
And Thanksgiving is an important holiday for us here in the United States. It's a time to socialize, enjoy each other's company,
Yeah.
watch some football. You know, review relationships. Reestablish relationships. It's important,
Well,
and it's
it's
very
holidays
sad.
and it's Thanksgiving, and that's that time of year. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the same thing will probably true for Christmas and New Year's as well.
Yes, exactly. You know.
Our governor here in California just put us back to the most restrictive tier, and
Right.
that happened, I think, day before yesterday. So San Francisco, which was not wide open, but was getting open, their counts were way down.
Hmm.
They're back in the most restrictive tier. Out here, it's called the purple tier:
Yeah.
purple, red, orange, yellow. I think it goes in that ascending order. And in Ventura, it's the same. We're locked down.
Yeah.
Um, I come into my pool room, every day I'm up here, uh, clean
I
tables,
know. I know.
do, do different stuff
You
just to
you
stay busy,
you
practice.
you haven't been going down to because you have a house in Sierra Madre. You haven't been going down there much, or
Yeah, yeah. I spend half the week in my home in the Pasadena area. For those that aren't
hmm
familiar with Southern California,
hmm
right at the end of the Rose Parade,
yeah,
and I have a home that's about 75 miles away in Ventura, Ojai, California.
yeah, yeah,
And I used to spend 2 or 3 days a week up here in Ventura, Ojai. Now I'm spending about 5 days a week up here because I need to pay attention to the building,
yeah.
make sure that there's no folks coming by, graffitiing the building or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
I
Just make sure
understand.
the equipment's okay.
So I, I want to stop you for a second because I want to say hi to the people that are watching right now. I want to say hi to Ken Crenshaw, Santa Cruz, and
Yeah, Kenny
Jeff.
Crenshaw, good player.
Yep, Jeff Gray in Las Vegas, Russ Zorn in Boise, Gareth Jones is in Wales watching, and he has a question he wanted to ask. I want to say hi to Fat Boy Eric Peterson.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Two in a million. He says COVID should not interfere with the livelihood or happiness of the American people, at least in my opinion. Okay, that's fine. Like everybody is entitled to their opinion, but my point really is just like um, you have to let people know what's going on so that they can take the appropriate steps because not
Sure.
everybody is immune to this. Not everybody is you know safe from harm when it comes to this, especially the elderly.
Right.
Gareth Jones, he asks, I got stopped from playing pool on Saturday by a police officer playing with four people in the pub in Wales.
Wow.
And so the local council went with a blanket ban and allowed pool and snooker halls to open, not open on the same basis. Do you think that's a
I have to check.
fair and level playing field?
I have to check my battery here. Something happened.
No, your battery's fine. It's my battery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's something to do with my change the battery pack. Holy crap! All right, my battery died fast. Geraldine, I need my. You can still hear me, right?
I'm good.
All
Yeah.
right. Check in the chat room, guys. If you can still hear me, let me know. I'm going to change the battery pack on this camera. Can I just get another camera? The one behind here. No, there's no other battery. It's the battery. No, I don't. I don't have the power for it. I didn't think the battery would run out that quickly. Okay, so anyway, uh, why should a bar with restrictions be any different from a pool hall? That's what his question really is. Gareth Jones. What do you think? I
Why
don't.
should it be any different?
I mean, I don't think it
I
should be any different, really.
it shouldn't be any different. Um, I think that the health departments, at least in the United States, I can speak to that, really don't understand what pool halls are about and the measures that we could take to protect the customer.
Hmm.
If, rent every other table, limit the space, the contact between customers, make sure that face coverings are worn, you have sanitizers and hand washing equipment, etc.
Hmm.
available. I wrote a whole protocol for our business, which I thought was pretty good. And I didn't even really get a chance to try it out because we got shut down so quickly. Um, Pool halls are, we're really the minority. Bars with pool tables, perhaps there's a few more, but they don't know what to do with us. They don't know what category we fit in. They want to put us in with like bowling alleys and gyms and rock climbing places and things like arcades, things like that. And we're kind of in those categories, but we're not really. So it's hard on these health officials to deal with. Like for example, I think in Ventura County, there's a total of three, maybe four pool rooms for about 900,000 people. We had some more, but they closed. And there's lots of bars with pool tables in them, so they won't let anybody in. Am I still with you, Daniel?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Um, so yeah, they don't know what to do with the pool table. They don't know if the virus is in the cloth,
Yeah. Oh God.
or
Yeah, I
when
know.
someone's on it. Or, they don't know. They really don't know.
So
So they're erring on the side of safety, and they're saying no, you can't play. You can't do this.
So I had a good question from Jeff Gray. He says it sounds as though
Okay.
that you may be like a pro shutdown as a precautionary measure. Like he's saying that maybe I sound like that, like I'm pro shut everything down. But he'd be interested in both of our stances on unemployment and economic solutions, such as who should be responsible for mortgage, rent shortages, tenants, landlords, banks, etc.
Wow, that's a tough question.
It's a tough question.
Um,
So, like, if we were to shut down again, like, you know, indefinitely or for a determined amount of time, like 4 to 6 weeks or something like that, who's gonna be responsible for that, or who should be? Do you think? What sort of
well, let
economic
me let me
solution should be
let me answer that
proposed?
question by talking a little bit about what happened with the PPP program that came out, I think, in
Okay.
March or April. All this money was allocated in the United States for this PPP program, and was supposed to be for small businesses, supposed to help with unemployment, and at the for the businesses, it was a loan that could perhaps be forgiven.
Yes.
Okay, so the major banks in the United States, like Citibank and Wells Fargo and Bank of America, they were charged with being the administrator of who would get the money and how it would go out, and they were given a percentage of uh, what they gave out, a small percent as kind of an overhead for them.
Hmm.
And okay, so if it takes 2 hours to process paperwork and I need $20,000, you know, they're going to make what, $200. But if some large outfit needs, 2 million, they're going to get 2% of that. They're going to get $40,000. So that money went to larger businesses, corporations,
Hmm.
and very little money got trickled down to small businesses. Some did, but not too much. I applied.
Jerry, I lost your audio. Stand by. Yeah, you know what? This camera, no. Too many issues, man. Stand by. Hey,
Yeah,
sorry about that. Okay, hold on.
I hear you, but I don't see you.
Okay, don't worry about that.
Okay.
Okay, we're back, guys. Sorry about that. Hi, Jerry. You back with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please continue. You applied for the PPP loans, but
Right.
you were
I
also
applied.
telling us. So you were telling us a lot of like the larger corporations,
Yes,
they cashed in on it quickly, and it kind of left the small business owners, the independent people, kind of high and dry.
it did.
Okay, now and then that's where you come in too, right?
Yes, I applied twice for some PPP money, and mostly, help me pay my insurance for the year and some electrical and water and just rubbish and standard stuff that you have to pay regardless of whether you're open or not.
Sure, sure.
And I didn't get anything. So all those types of expenses have been out of our pocket, my wife and I. And it's probably significant over the last 10 months, but not enough to put me out of, I'm out of business, but put me like really out of business. Um, Unlike some of my colleagues,
Hmm.
for example, Chris Swart, who I know you know very well, who owns the California Billiard Club up in Fremont.
Yeah,
He's on the hook for a lot of rent,
yeah.
a lot of overhead, even though he wasn't open, and he just barely for a while has been able to open up a little bit. But it's going to take him, if he's able to stay open, it's going to take him years to regroup. It'll take me years to regroup too.
Yeah. Well, okay. Chris Fort, by the way, just jumped into the chat room.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So hi, Chris. He's the owner of California Billiards. He's been closed for quite some time. Um, y- and you guys aren't alone. I mean, I can think of every room in California, that's suffering, and places that have already closed down. I mean, Buffalo Billiards in Petaluma, Broken Rack closed in
Yeah,
Emeryville, San Francisco's Family Billiards. Delbert Wong is on the hook for a lot of rent there. He's trying to deal with that.
right.
Um, you've also got Billiard Palicade. I don't even know what's going on with them in San
Yeah.
Francisco. Um, I can't think of a room right now that doesn't know what the hell to do. I
Well,
mean, Clyde Norris down in San Diego, they're closed. College Billiards closed. I mean, there
if
are a few rooms that are opening up, like back doors.
if
Uh,
if Ken Crenshaw's still in the chat room, I'd like to ask him a question. First of all, hi to Ken, good guy. What's happening with Fast Eddie's and Easy Street
Easy
in
Street
Monterey?
Billiards, yeah, in Monterey.
Yes, Easy Street, and then Fast Eddie's in Capitola, if he knows.
Right, right. And I don't know. I mean, are we just suckers here in California? Because I'm hearing all these other rooms are open in Texas, South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Massachusetts. I'm hearing, they've somehow gotten a loophole where, oh, that's a private club, or they're open, sort of like behind closed doors.
Right.
I mean, are we suckers?
Well, I think some of the things I'll blow my cover on a little bit. I do allow some of my patrons to come in, really selected groups, small group that come in and play, and I'm able to pick up a little bit of money each week, very little,
Yeah.
maybe 150.
Hmm.
And it's more about just they're dying without being able to play pool, and so
Yeah.
I kind of let them in under the cover of darkness, 3 or 4 at a time. That's it for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to do that a little bit more. A colleague of mine was trying to do that up this way. I won't mention his name, and the health department came in and told him to stop.
Right.
So um, anyway, so I don't know what's going to happen with me. Maybe they'll catch me too and tell me to stop, and I will if they do. But
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just doing it really for the money, yeah, a little bit, but really just kind of just keep contact with some of my core group.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So like back to that subject though that Jeff Gray brought up. Like, say we closed again for 6 weeks, government, shut down. What are we gonna do? I mean, there's no stimulus being talked about right now.
Well, I think that the Biden administration, I think, is going to try to do something, lean on the Senate and the House to get something going. That would be a good gesture on his part. He's our new incoming president, and hopefully he can do something there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as big as the first one because
Right.
these deficits that we're going to be running are going to take a long time to pay off and get squared up.
Yeah.
But if we are going to be closed again and I'm thinking we will for at least 6 more months, they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something because this unemployment's going to have to be extended. That's the big thing, I think, even probably more than businesses. I'd love to see the businesses get some money, but the unemployment's going to be very hard to pay rent and pay your car note and food, and
Right.
your kids have needs, and everybody has needs, health insurance, on and on and on and on and on. It's just ugly. Um,
So there's a guy, he's Hector Diaz, he's in the chat. He says there's no easy answer right now, which is kind of
no,
like where we're coming. He says that he's a social services worker in his county, believes things are getting worse. He does live in California before anyone asks. He loves pool, and it sucks that we can't play. But you're right, there is no easy answer right now.
no,
We've got a federal governmental transition that's supposed to be taking place that's being stalled. I mean, there's just a lot of turmoil going on right now, and I just want everybody to know that, like, you know, I pray everyone gets through this, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of people aren't getting through this, and it's just really sad. We lost a pool player down here to COVID, just very
that's
recently,
right.
named Marcos Rodriguez, who was in his mid 50s, and I don't know. You may know who he is, Jerry.
What's his name again?
Marcos Rodriguez.
Is he the left-handed player?
I believe he is left-handed. He kind of had a
And
like a boxy haircut kind of thing.
yeah, did he play at Hard Times quite a bit?
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
I know him. Yeah,
yeah. He's gone. COVID, man.
yeah,
Coronavirus.
he used to play Stan Oda quite a bit years ago, I think.
Yeah, Stan Oda.
Yeah,
I
good
love
player,
Stan.
good player.
Oh, I love Stan. But so was Hector, and you know, not everybody is gonna make it.
No,
Um, and I just I find it really hard. I think the hardest part for me is knowing that people seem to have some kind of stigma to this, like where if they get this, they can't tell anybody. And
right.
I'm begging people, if you get this
Yeah,
virus, you need to just come forward with it, man. Look, all these pool players that say they have no other way to make a living. Look, what have I been doing for 10 years? I've shut everything down
yeah,
for POVPOOL. Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not making any money. I'm not going out doing gigs. It's
right.
like, if you think I haven't had it hard and I'm in my 50s,
Yeah.
then I mean, I know the pool
Well,
players. I know how they can
I wanted to share.
struggle.
I wanted to share something with you. This would be about my third or fourth Zoom with you 3 of them were one-on-one, and 2 of them were with Gilbert Naj from the Elks Club in Burbank, and with Chris Swartz from Fremont. But the last one that you and I did, I was quite depressed during that interview. And shortly after that,
By the way, I'm inviting Chris right now.
okay,
Yeah, but go ahead. You were depressed
uh,
after that.
after during that interview, I probably expressed a lot of depression that I had about the whole thing and myself, feeling sorry for myself. And after that interview, I just had a long talk with my wife, and I said, "Look, I'm through with the depression. I can't change what's happening. Our business is worth nothing. I couldn't sell this business right now for $10,000, even though I came off my best year ever in 2019."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "So this is what I want to do. I just want to hold on, wait for the day that we can start to do a limited opening, and more and more and more.
Yeah.
I want to rebuild the business. That's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Rebuild it, hopefully better than ever, but that's what I want to do, and get it running again. And then I want to let it go. Then I want to sell it. That's what my goal is, because I'm 72 now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that will take at least 2 to 3 more years. And I think I'll be old enough to let it go at 75. But I want to see it running well, and I would like the new owner to take over a business that's viable, that they can make some money at, and I'd be very happy about that if I could pull that off. So that's my mindset. That's where I'm at, and that's what I'm going to do. So help me God.
So help you God, and I hope it comes true for you. That's another thing too. Is like I feel like just we as a people in this country, we have a monkey on our back, and that's the monkey on our back is like we've got to pay bills, we've got to pay rent, we got to feed the whole, we got to keep making money, and there's no forgiveness. I mean, like this virus just doesn't give a shit.
No.
Like how much debt you're in, and it doesn't sound like the government or our local agencies care that much either. Although they say they care, and they say they want to do something, but there's too many. Like we all got monkeys on our backs, man.
Yeah, and I've watched the talking. Being a nurse, I have some scientific knowledge about infection control and whatnot, and listening to a lot of the talking heads. They're all right and they're all wrong. We've had a lot of misinformation. First of all, masks.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need masks. They don't make a difference. Now all of a sudden they make a difference. Well, what changed everybody's mind? And then the social distancing, which I believe in, was important. And then, we couldn't get a vaccine for 3 years, and all of a sudden, the scientists of the world in virology and whatnot, looks like we got some breakthroughs coming up. So there's just a lot of information out there. Some of it's accurate, some of it's not so accurate. But timelines right now, no one can really give us timelines, and that's what's critical. If someone were to say, "Daniel, we're going to be through this and on our road to recovery in February," you're not going to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Who would believe that? Or, "Daniel, this is going to be with us for 5 more years." Maybe, maybe not. So we don't really know what's going on. No one can tell us the truth. We don't know the truth when we see it. They don't know the truth when they speak it. So we just have to be safe. We have to be careful. We have to manage our money. Whatever money we have, we have to manage it. Don't go big at big expenses and big purchases and whatever.
Yeah.
Stay in your house to the degree that you can. Cut back where you can cut back. Hunker down. Try new ways of socializing with people. Maybe going to the park and standing 20 feet apart and shouting at each other, talking to each other like that, or whatever. But we just can't give up. We can't give up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have to stay on it. We have to believe that there's going to be an end to this, that we're going to have a viable vaccine, that our economy is going to rebound, that people are going to get back to work and they're going to be able to restart their lives again. We have to believe that. We can't believe anything but that. That's me. That's my belief.
Hold on a second.
Sure.
I'm trying to get Chris Swart here to join with us, and
I'm still not seeing you in any picture. I just
yeah,
see my...
no. I've pretty much given up on that right now.
Okay.
I set up the wrong camera. I should have set up another. So strange that late in my career I would have problems streaming, but
Yeah.
for almost 10 years I was seamless.
You're out of practice.
Usually having, yeah, I am way out of practice, man.
You're out of stroke.
Plus, technology has changed actually when I least expect it. And I'm actually not using my regular stream system. I'm using a new computer that I built several months ago. But let's wait for Chris. He says
Sure.
he needs a meeting ID, and I'm trying to find it. Maybe Geraldine can help me.
Are we on straight audio, Daniel, or is my picture being shared out there?
Your picture is your lovely face is
Am I
being
lovely?
shared.
Double chin? Okay.
Hold on. Eight.
No, it's a long one. You have to send him the meeting invite. This one.
That's what I'm doing.
I just sent him the same invite you sent Jerry.
So anyway, Jerry,
Yes.
I hear a lot of people have been telling me they've been watching. You know what? I want to thank some of the streamers for digging into their crates and picking up some of their and posting some of their archives. Guys like Pat Fleming and a lot of the AccuStats videos.
Yeah,
Have you been seeing any of those?
I have, and I'm very happy that a lot of that stuff from yesteryear is coming online that we can watch, because if we can't play and watch in person, at least we can revisit some of those old matches that are great. And Pat is a great streamer. Had some great matches to show. I was watching one the other day with Efren and Scott. I think Scott happened to win that match, and it was great. It was great.
Yeah. I have been really happy to see some of those matches. I watched Jennifer Beretta play yesterday. She played like a match from last year, and she went hill. I can't remember who she played. She played a guy that I'm not familiar with. And
You know, Daniel, I got to tell you something. I have watched the Tony Dennis Orcoyo match out of Chris's room in Fremont, the 4-day match. I've watched it from beginning to end probably 5 times. That's a long time to watch it.
yeah.
And in my opinion, that's the greatest one pocket match I have ever seen in my life.
Thanks so much, man.
It is. The commentary was great. The venue was great. The drama was great.
Yeah.
The shot selection from both of those good players was fantastic. Dennis making every straight back from the end rail and running 6 balls when he was down 6-0. I mean, it was unbelievable. And then for Tony to come up with that crazy carom shot to win the match,
Basically,
it's like it doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't.
Yeah. That was the big one.
Anybody that has not watched that match on your match that you put together, you and Chris.
Chris, did you watch that match?
Which match are we talking about?
Talking about the big one.
Oh, the big one? No, I missed that. I missed the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the greatest one pocket match I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to
Easy
welcome.
money, you're looking good. You're looking good.
I want to welcome Chris Swart, aka Maria Harton Swart. um,
Yeah, that's my wife. I'm on her iPad. So.
and I also want to warn you guys that we may freeze again because Geraldine's trying to get the camera up and running again, but I don't think it's going to happen. But Chris Swart is the owner of California Billiards in Fremont. Still the owner, still hanging tough. And he just happened to catch us on this impromptu stream that me and Jerry decided to do today, and we froze, and we're not froze.
But I couldn't let Jerry have all the action. Come on.
There you
now.
go. There you go.
So what's
I
up?
don't like
What's
this double chin I'm showing in here, but I guess I have to own up to
it's
it.
it's the camera angle, buddy.
That's what the master.
You gotta move the.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, guys in the
you
chat
go.
room, if you have any questions for Jerry Matchin or Chris Swart, ask away. I know there's less than 40 of you guys watching right now, but I know you all know these guys, and they're here to answer any questions for you, man. Because I know you guys want them to open just as much as they want to be open. But anyway, Chris, how you
I'm
doing,
open.
man? How are you? You are open.
I'm open.
Okay.
I'm doing good. I am open.
He's
I
open,
am not closing.
and you
I
got no
am
shame in your
open
game.
until they put chains on the doors.
All right. Good.
Until they put the chains on the doors, I will not close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Done.
So you've got procedures in place, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm still at the 25%.
Okay.
I'm doing the control. I can tell you, I'm controlling better than Walmart is. It's right next door to me. I can tell you that right now. So
Okay.
as far as I'm concerned, if they want to close me, they better close Walmart. I'm going to sue them. That's how I am right now. That's how frustrated I am with this whole deal.
Yeah.
Because it's not me. It's not Jerry. It's not the bars. It's not the pubs that are doing the correct thing. That's not what this spread's about. That's not what's going on. We haven't even been open long enough for it to spread right now.
Right.
So they need to find, it's not the restaurants. It's none of these things. LA, you guys are down. Ventura, you're down in LA. You guys have been multiplying and nothing's open. So it can't be the businesses. So what else is it? It's got to be something else. And I'm frustrated. Sorry. That's why I had to call on here, because it's time that the owners like us and the small businesses need to say enough is enough. We need to come out. There's nobody helping us. There's nobody giving me a check for rent. There's nobody paying my employees. My employees don't get paid.
Yeah.
Nobody is helping us at all. So you can listen to Newsom and his bullshit, but there's no help for anybody right now. So the reality is, we as small businesses need to step up, and we need to start fending for ourselves. The reality is, we as small businesses are being treated like this because we are not organized together enough to have enough money to go after the state. Walmart, the barber industry, the tattoo industry, all of those industries got together. They got enough money together to say, we're going to sue you. And all of a sudden, amazingly, they're at the top of the list and can...
Jerry, I've lost you guys. Damn it. Stand by. God damn it. Are you plugged in? Okay. All right. I've got to transition back to... Hold on. Stop trying to plug it in because it's freezing everything. What? Might be under warranty.
That's right.
And I'm just, it's happening throughout. Here's the deal.
Hey. Stop. I want to tell you guys, I'm really sorry, but we lost you for about 40 seconds there. So roll it back, because what you're saying is really crucial, really important. Roll it back like 45 seconds.
Oh, did that start with the goddamn son of a bee? Blah, blah, blah. Is that part?
Yeah, yeah.
Look, the reality.
You gotta do something.
Yes, and this last spike has nothing to do with the businesses at all. It has everything to do with something that they don't want to put out there, and that's the election. All of these people that are out there voting, and they're allowed to do it, and thank God for them, but they were out there 5, 6, 7 hours in line, back to back to back, and most of them didn't have masks on. That's part of it. The other part is all this other crap that's going on that has nothing to do with the businesses. People partying at home because they can't go to the businesses to hang out and relax. So they're all going to their own to houses. You got 10, 12, 20, 30 people going to a house to hang out. We need interaction. But they ain't wearing masks at the house. I wouldn't do it. I'm going to somebody's house. I'm not going to sit there and wear a mask in their house. I mean, I should, right? But that's what's happening. That's where the spread's at. They don't want to say that. They just want to make it look like they're helping and protecting us by shutting the businesses down. And that's
there's another. You and I talked about this, Chris, earlier. There's a whole nother group of people that are getting infected through no fault of their own. The people that are working in the food processing plants are right next to each other. I don't care how much PPE you have. They're on top of each other processing hot dogs and chicken and whatever. And those poor people that are working the fields and the orchards, that's how they earn a few dollars. They're on top of each other, boxing stuff up, putting it together. And there's no way to do that kind of work without being in close proximity to your coworker. There's no way to do it. And those people are getting infected. The San Joaquin Valley's got it very bad. Up here we mostly have strawberries, avocados, oranges, and lemons up here in Ventura County. They're up in those trees picking that stuff and boxing it up and shipping it out. They have no choice. They have to work. There isn't enough money for those poor people. They need it. And they're getting sick. They're getting infected.
You're 100% right. Everything. If you look at the numbers, 85% of all infections right now are Hispanics. And 80% of those that are infected are exactly what you're talking about. You look at Monterey, you look at all the areas where our produce and everything else is picked. They're not a bunch of white people or anybody else. Those are Hispanic that work their asses off to do what they got to do. And the other thing, too, is a lot of people don't realize a lot of those Hispanics that are in that industry live in small, I want to say they're like little bunkers, and they all sleep right next to each other. But that's just what they have to do to survive and to work at a lot of these places.
Right.
That is absolutely. You look at all of the places where it's heavy Hispanic. That's where a lot of the spread is, but it's not their fault. They're out working and nobody's protecting them.
And there's no distancing at all, is what you're saying.
None, but they can't. How are you going to distance picking stuff? You would lose 3/4 of your crop if you had a distance.
It's got to be done fast. Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
When that fruit ripens and the crops need to come in and the meat needs to be processed, you can't do it one person at a time. It's got to be hundreds of people working that line.
That's right.
I mean, there's no way around it, or else we don't eat.
So what about on the? Well, go ahead, Chris. I want you to finish your thought.
I'll chill.
Because I know there's also now there's a tipping point going the other way where you've got now this huge percentage of the population that now don't even think coronavirus is dangerous at all, right? This is what I was talking about with Jerry earlier. The stuff that's really creating a big spike now is like people are just like, oh, well, this is just like the flu. You're just going to have to deal with it, And I'm not going to say, I'm not trying to call out anybody's political affiliation or whatever, but we all know like mostly where it's coming from. And you've just got people who are just careless about it now, lackadaisical about it. What are we doing about that? What can we do about that? It's going to make this impossible to fight.
If you're a teenager and you're a skateboarder, I see the kids on the block here. I see 4 and 5 guys with their skateboards out. They're not wearing masks. They're invincible. If they get sick, they're probably going to be just fine in 2 weeks.
Sure.
They're going to be laid up for a day or two, maybe, and they may not get laid up. They'll be infected, they're going to get through it fine. But that's not the population that's at risk of dying. The population that's at risk of dying is people that have, comorbidities, hypertension, overweight, old age,
No
heart
access, no
disease,
access to
diabetes.
help, right?
Yeah,
Those
I
people,
mean,
no access.
yeah, the young kids, they can withstand this. I don't want to see them get sick. I don't want to have them be spreaders or anything, but they just don't see it as a big deal for them, and they take it home to their parents and their aunts and uncles and grandparents and whatnot. They don't even know they have it, and they're just going. College is the same way. My son teaches at a college in South Carolina. He said, Dad, he said, you should see the bars here. They're packed, and nobody's socially distancing. Nobody's wearing masks. They're all college students. They're all 20 years old, 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 33, and he doesn't go into those places. And he's healthy. But, it's just, that's the group that's probably the spreaders. Those poor people that are working the orchards and meat processing and whatnot, and those kids that are in school. And I don't know how you're going to keep a teenager or young adult cooped up. It's hard enough for us old people to
Jerry, you're absolutely 100% correct. And obviously the government feels the same way because they're pushing for schools. They know these kids need to go back to school, and they know those kids, they're not going to die. The reality is, if you look at the numbers, it's like 70% is 70 and over that are dying. But I can
Right.
tell you what, the one thing they're not telling you is that 80% of those 70 and overs are dying in homes that are not getting any care. All these
Right.
care facilities are killing them left and right. And
Yeah.
if this state is so worried about older gentlemen and this supposed virus that's so bad, why are they not getting in there and locking that crap down and making sure people that can't get out of bed don't get sick and die?
So I got.
You know
I
why?
got
Because they don't want to pay them Social Security anymore. They're okay with them dying. I'll say it. They don't care because they're a hindrance on society now because they're sucking in insurance money, they're sucking in the hospital money, and they're sucking in Social Security.
their parents or grandparents into those facilities anymore. They're scared. They're not letting them in. They're figuring out a way to take care of them at home, and they need, most of them need to run 80% occupancy to turn a profit, and they're running about 50% occupancy right now. No new customers are coming into those nursing homes because all the people that died for the very reasons you mentioned, and it's very interesting to take a look at that.
Yeah.
A couple points in the chat room are coming up. Mass testing in Liverpool in Great Britain discovered that 75% of the people with COVID showed no symptoms. 75%, that's quite a lot.
That's high.
Yeah, but let me ask this. They say 75% didn't have symptoms. Why did they take the damn test? They had to have some kind of symptom. They had to have some kind of sneezing, coughing, or something to go take the test. 75% of them didn't go take the test just out of the hell of it. Come on.
Well, Geraldine and I went and took a test. That's because somebody else at work got it, and so we, I mean, in Great Britain, they might have some different regulations where they're saying, like, we highly recommend you get a test, or certain groups of people. I mean, I can understand, maybe they did have some symptoms, yes. Dave Cat, he says kids are partying and they're passing and sharing bottles and reefers.
Sure.
Back and forth.
Yeah, that's true for everything. They get the flu, everything else. Jerry's right. The kids, that's who I'm having issues with. The guys that are coming, they're wearing masks, but when they get in, they want to take them off. They want to eat. They want to drink. Look, we've all been there. Jerry's been there. I've been there. Daniel, you've been there.
Yeah.
We all grew up fighting the society. And these guys right now know that they're not going to die from this. It's probably a flu, if anything else. They're not going to die from it. So they're okay with it. They're not smart enough to think, hey, I'm going to go see grandma later. I might take it to her. And I don't mean to say they're not smart enough. They're just not smart enough age-wise to realize past with their own thoughts of, I'm invincible, I'm Superman.
Right.
Okay, it's not a problem. But you know what? If instead of trying to control those people, talking to them and bringing up and suggesting things is way easier. I've kicked one person out the whole time, but that one person was more political than had anything to do with him being invincible.
Oh, I see.
Other than that, everybody else doesn't have a problem with it. They put a mask on. You know, it's okay.
Well, look, let's just look at the reality. If you're going to keep kids out of school, what do you want them to do? Sit at home and twiddle their thumbs? They're not going to do that. They're full of testosterone and energy and life, and they want to go do something. They're not going to sit at home.
Well, no, I think that's what started the surge in the first place. Was people like, I can't remember what holiday, but maybe it was July 4th, where people were just like, it's time to go out, and like July 4th, there was like a nice big spike, you know.
Oh, and that brings me up. I did say voting was where the spread. Also, I hate to say it, but Halloween I think is part of the spread a little bit too. You know, there's a lot of people out there doing whatever they do, but the spread's going to spread. I don't. It's not. Again, I really don't think it's a business. I don't.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, it's an attitude, you know, and it's like I said, it's like the people that are not coming forward and letting their colleagues know, like, hey, I just tested positive for coronavirus, you know. I mean, if you can't do that, you're cutting everybody off from being able to make an honest to take care of or protect themselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let me put it to you this way, Daniel. If you had a job
with you,
let's say you've been off for 6 months, you know, you got no money for food. You just got back to your job. You've been working there for about a week. You just got a check. All of a sudden, you don't feel too good, but you're all right. You know, you're not like pouring down feeling. Are you going to go take a test? If that test says you're positive, are you going to say, hey, I can't work for 2 weeks and go sit? Not a chance. These guys,
No.
I guarantee that's what's making this worse, is they've got no money for the people that are starving. And those people are going to do whatever it takes to put food on the table.
Okay.
And if that means I can work, because they'll do it through a cold, they'll do it through the flu, they're going to do it through this. If they feel enough to work, they're not going to say shit because they don't want me sending them home. Okay?
Yeah.
That's reality of what's going on right now. And that's part of the spread too. They're going to go to their friend's house. They're going to go to their kids are going to go to school. Sorry. There's a school in Northern California that I know 2 kids that go to. One of them was tested and was positive, and the school let them in 2 days later. 2 days later, this is what they did. They went to the classroom, sprayed the classroom, said it's all good, and let her back in school.
Wow.
You know, we talk a lot about herd immunity, right?
Herd immunity?
There's another thing called herd mentality. And herd mentality is, all you got to do is watch these nature shows. You see all these animals grazing in the African Sahara, and they think they're safe because they're in a herd, because only 1 or 2. Sorry, got drag racing out on my street here.
That's what else they're doing because they can't get into the businesses.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they're drag racing.
They got herd mentality because they know that there's safety in numbers, and only 1 or 2 of them are going to get picked off. And that's why we have herds. That's why cattle graze in herds. And they're not standing out there by themselves.
Yeah.
So it's not herd immunity anymore. It's herd mentality.
A shout out to Womber. He says that he feels like he's watching Alex Jones Billiards right now. Mark Hillier in the chat room. He says he wants to see you guys match up and play pool with each other.
Nah, we did. Jerry kicked my butt. I don't want nothing to do with Jerry.
We have.
I don't want nothing to do with Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry's
Chris
not
was
good.
stalling for a bigger bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile-
I would love to. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to play Jerry every day. He's the kind of guy I can play. I have no problem. I don't not better. I don't care. I love playing people that love one pocket. I'll play him any day of the week, anytime.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way, and I'll play him even. You know, I don't need a spot. Just I want to learn. You know. Um, Another rumor that Turning Stone has been canceled this year, and so has Derby this year,
Oh, I do have something to say about Derby. I booked my room
or next
about
year's
I
Derby.
booked my room about a month and a half ago because they're so hard to get. And my intention is if the vaccine came out and they were going to hold it, I was going to see about getting it in enough time to attend the event.
Uh-huh.
But you're saying now that maybe it's canceled, huh, Daniel?
That's the rumor I'm hearing. You might want to double check and maybe go to the website or go to the people that you sent your
Right.
check to and ask them what's going on. I'm sure they'd be contacting you to give you a refund. I mean, I would hope.
no, yeah.
But it is the pool world, so you just never know.
I think
Hey,
the
look,
worst thing that'll happen to me is I'll lose one day's room rent. But I booked the room.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
planning on going, but I was waiting. I was holding on to the very end to see about getting the plane and all that.
Yeah.
I totally agree that there should not be any tournaments right now. None. Don't get me wrong. I want the businesses to open, but we don't need to run tournaments. Tournaments are not a good idea. At least
I
big
agree.
tournaments where people are coming outside from different states. That's
Right.
that's definitely no. And to be honest with you too, Moscone better shut down, because Moscone, if they run their tournament, that's wrong. Especially after what everybody saw in Houston and how many players got COVID in Houston. They need to be responsible and just put that to the side, because the reality is, it's
Can
not.
you guys? I have to leave for just a second.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, Chris, on the line of what you were saying, I mean, I've only heard rumors about what happened in Houston. Nothing to me has been fully confirmed, but I've heard crazy numbers about how many people got sick there. Like,
Well, we've talked about it. I can tell you, I can't confirm. I'm not going to confirm names, but I can confirm that one pro told me another pro, and a bunch of other ones definitely got it. Whether they got it there at that tournament, I don't know. I'm gonna say probably not. It probably was their lifestyle outside of the pool room. That would be my guess. Is they were probably out doing whatever they do, went out to eat, or went out and partied at a nightclub that didn't care.
yeah.
And they're in that area. Houston, I think, is wide. If I remember right, Houston's wide open right now. So that's absolutely possible and plausible. But I can guarantee you, there's some names that I had heard that are out there. And you know what? Hey, as long as they take care of themselves and they don't come back to play
Yeah.
until they get those negative tests, and maybe some of them are false positives as well. But that's the problem I'm seeing right now is the money is so tight, even with these pros. Heck, the money was tight with the pros even when everything was great. Okay?
Yeah.
So can you imagine how tight it is for some of these pros right now? So even if they do have it and they know it, I guarantee you they're not going to pass up playing some dude for 10 grand in a pool room. And that's part of that's something that's really hard.
I get that, and I understand that. Yeah, I really do get that and understand. I mean, I've tried to set up, or at least, propose a couple of action matches to happen. Like, for instance, we were trying to work on Shane and Eklan Kachi to happen at
Right.
California Billiards. But if you think about how much it would cost to make that production happen, against also the risk itself of putting people together like that, and then you wanted to charge for VIP seating for that to happen, and I get that. That's your right to do so. But honestly, I had to decline because, in my opinion, it's not good for me to set that type of an example right now. Like I really, as a broadcaster, as a streamer, I don't think it's responsible for me to attend any tournaments or events that has any more than 10 people present. I just don't think it's good, right? Because the message that I'm sending to those people is, yeah, sure, everything's fine. Come and come and play with each other. Come and get into a room with each other and just be safe. I can't control that type of situation.
I agree. You know what? And we talked about this. Was I on board? Yes, I was until we really started thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think if we would have just had them one-on-one with nobody there, it's doable. But the reality is, it doesn't do any good for you. It doesn't do any good for me, business-wise.
No.
It's great content for somebody to watch, but it is not worth the risk. But let me say one thing: anybody that walks in anybody's door, they take the responsibility of being out there. And a lot of these guys don't have that problem. So, I mean, I deal with a lot of people that are over 70 years old, and a lot of those guys, masked or not, are not sitting and hiding in a closet. They're out doing what they do. They've been, a lot of them have been through. I've seen farmers that laugh and go, I spray pesticides and crap on my stuff for years. Why? You think this is going to really bother me? I smoke, I drink, I eat bacon, I eat meat. It's like I've been loving.
Smoke, drink, and eat bacon, baby.
Hey, my grandma. That's my grandma to the tilt. She lived until she was 90 plus years old.
Give up the bacon. Don't give up the smoking and drinking. Give up the bacon.
No, speaking of which, I'm 11 months off of cigarettes today.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I'm still eating bacon and I'm still drinking.
I had to answer the back door. There was a couple kids there with no masks on that wanted to come in and play pool and were flashing $20 bills at me.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
You should just snatch that money out of their hands and tell them, get out of here.
Yeah, I should have
You
given
know
them
what?
a voucher.
Get out of here, boy.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, grab the 220s and tell them you'll be right back with masks.
Yeah.
Don't ever go back to the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we go back to these challenge matches?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of caught the tail end of that. I actually think that those I don't know where the money's going to come from, but those need to happen to keep pool alive in people's minds right now. Seeing a match like Tony and Scott is going to be good for pool. I hope that they control the crowd. I hope that they don't have a lot of people there.
Oh, they're in Florida, Jerry. They're wide open. In
Oh,
Florida.
yeah. Florida's the hot spot right now.
But it's not. But Daniel, look at their numbers. You know what? As much as everybody's going, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that. Their numbers are not that horrible. They're really not.
In Florida,
they're trying to prove that they're obviously the herd immunity kind, and that's what they're trying to prove.
Okay.
Their numbers are they're climbing, but they're not like spiking like some of these other states are that are in lockdown right now.
Yeah.
Their numbers are actually not bad.
Yeah.
Of all places, North Dakota today has more deaths and hospitalizations per capita than any state in the union. Can you imagine that's one of the least populated states in the union?
So
I mean, it's a very rural state.
So speaking of action matches, we did get to see Oscar and Mika play each other. What did you guys think of that? Croc Island Man in the chat room says that I could have beat both of them together by the way they played.
Well,
Mika.
Let me go first. It was content, and I appreciated them putting together that match. I did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't top caliber one pocket. It wasn't Tony and Dennis or Alex and
Sure.
Justin Hall or something. It wasn't. Those guys are not top 20 players. They're not top 25 players. Not playing one pocket. They are playing the other games, but not playing one pocket.
Yeah. Well, also they have the disadvantage of not having much competition lately. I mean, I know that Mika went down, played that Texas event, and I don't know if he played any one pocket or if he's even playing much one pocket. I don't even know why one pocket was the format that was chosen, although I do appreciate one pocket very much, because I feel like both of them are mostly known for their rotation and 9-ball 10-ball type games, but I guess if you're matching up, that's the only way to match up is to match up with the right game.
if Mika thinks he knows how to play one pocket, he should really watch that back and stop playing. Because I'm sorry. That was the absolute worst one pocket from him I've ever seen, and he was not even interested in it. He was flying at balls and didn't care. He didn't want to play.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Oscar play. Oscar's not a bad player. He's a good player. He's a good run-out player. But when you're playing against somebody that just smacks the crap out of the ball and don't want to be there, that's a hard thing to keep your pace with. And that was so evident. I'm sorry, it was hard to watch. I'd rather watch John Henderson and probably the oldest player in the country play each other, because that's going to take 18 hours. It would be better.
Yeah, put the Monk up against John Henderson. That'd be a great match.
Actually, I would have liked to have seen that Ed Ames match that was taking place right next to the next table.
Hey, well, I heard he had to kick Ed Ames out because Ed Ames wouldn't wear a mask.
Well, Ed Ames gets kicked out of a lot of places, but that's
Anyway.
I digress.
All right, well, I got about 5 more minutes, and I got to run and take my daughter to dance. So,
all right.
ask me some questions, whatever you want to do. I'm ready to yell, and then I can get the hell out of here and leave you guys alone.
Are you talking to anybody else that's any other room owners? Like, have you spoken to Delbert? Have you spoken to Clyde Norris? Anybody else?
There are no other room owners. They're all going out of business. That's the sad reality.
Yeah.
I talked to Delbert. I don't see Delbert coming back. I think I'm sorry, Milpitas. I think she sold or she's done.
Sue.
Emeryville's done. I talked to Oscar. Oscar's hanging in there, but he's got a special circumstance, which is good for him. Other than that, I'm hearing rooms left and right closing, and they got to open the doors. If you're going to close, you might as well open your doors and try to get as much as you can. Jerry was right. Jerry earlier talked about how far in debt we are and how long it's going to take. I'm telling you right now, I went through on Monday. I sat down with my numbers. If I close the doors, I'm not going to open back up. It's not worth me working for 4 years to break even. I will make no money, and it will take me 4 years just to break even. And that's if I'm back to normal and back to doing good. That's the reality that all of us business owners face, and people out there need to realize that. I mean, there's people that are working that owe so much rent right now. They're going to be homeless, and they're not going to be able to get rent again because it's going to be on their record. This whole thing is a nightmare, and it just needs to stop. It needs to stay open, and we need to get people back to work. That's what we need to do.
That's another thing too, guys, is in the chat room, if your rooms are closed where you are, let us know so that we can also get an idea for how it's going in your neck of the woods too. Jerry, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I keep up with Sal Butera pretty regularly. He tried to open, kind of halfway open, and somebody dropped a dime on him, meaning that somebody said they were playing pool in there, and the health officer came in, gave him a full inspection, found some dust specks on his fan, and found some soap residue in his sink, and said, "Yeah, you're closed. You're closed."
Yeah.
So no one was playing pool. They were sitting down eating with masks.
Oh.
And so he's got the same problem Chris does with the back rent. But maybe there needs to be a whole legislative thing about landlords and rent, and somehow give them some kind of a special tax credit, not a tax write-off, but a tax credit, to not knock all the renters out of their businesses and give this thing a chance to work itself out.
Jerry, these assholes can't even give you a check for money for right now. They can't even agree to do anything for anybody, and they want to wait until next year. You want them to start thinking about maybe they should give something to landlords? Bullshit. You want everything to change quick? Take the goddamn money that all these senators and all this other shit, take it away from them. Take their homes away from them, and you'll see how goddamn quick they start showing up to work and start doing work. They don't work for the people anymore. People need to realize this shit. They work for themselves and they make their own damn money. And only time that they came into office is to put a fucking judge up. Not the whole country's going goddamn broke, and they're caring about a goddamn judge. And Pelosi keeps putting, "Oh, we're going on break." Fuck your break. You're on break all year. All year. I'm sorry, but fucking hey.
Yeah.
Listen. Before you go, and I know you know this, Chris and Daniel, you may not. Our governor went to a restaurant that the minimum meal is $300 for one person, with no masks on. It was fully packed like a week ago. Our legislature, all of them went to Hawaii for a conference. And what the hell are they doing that for? That doesn't even make any sense.
No.
Because they're counting their money that they're making on this pandemic. These guys are they're not going for a conference. They're going for a party to think about how much goddamn money and millions they're going to make when this vaccine comes out. Don't kid yourself. These guys are going to make $1 million.
Yeah, they're going to be lining up like. Yeah, they're going to be lining up like cows to the trough, man. It's good, you know.
Anyway, I have to run. I appreciate everybody out there. I appreciate you, Jerry. Obviously, I appreciate you, Daniel. I'm sorry to jump in on your video here, but I had to get.
Don't worry about it, man. This is real talk, man. Real talk.
Right. More of us owners, business owners, need to start stepping up and just saying no. It needs to start happening. It's the only way that we survive.
You know what? I'm going to grab Daniel, and I'm coming up to Fremont, and it's just going to be the three of us, and you and I are going to do a live stream, and I'm going to tighten your ass up in some one pocket.
Jerry,
color commentary.
Jerry, I will take you up on that, man. I will go up there with you.
All right, I got to go, guys.
Chris, all the best to you, man. Peace, Chris.
All right, love you guys.
All right, thank you. Well, that was interesting, Jerry. I have to say, it was very nice to see Chris again.
Yes.
And you know, I don't really know where else we should go with this. Like he's a tough act to follow, I tell you. But I do want to say again that I'm really, really grateful for some of these new matches that are actually old matches that I'm seeing on YouTube. Guys like Accustats, a couple of other broadcasters have been putting up their old matches for us to see. Obviously, too, they're cashing in a little bit. They're making their YouTube money, you know, because they need to.
Make something.
Yeah, they need to make money. But, you know, my hat's off to them. I don't care if they go laughing at the bank right now, you know. And Accustats, in my opinion, is probably the best broadcaster of billiards and pool
for sure
in history, because you know, if there was anything that inspired me to start POVPOOL, it was Accustats from 25 years ago.
I am very disappointed in our ESPN networks and whatnot. There's been no pool on TV for this whole year. Nothing.
Well,
except
the internet is saturated.
Not the internet, but I'm just talking about on ESPN. Some of those girl matches with, you know, Allison Fisher and Jeanette Lee and some of the other matches. Those are some great matches that could be on there, and I don't understand why they're not putting them on. I mean, they everybody loves them, and instead we're watching rodeo events from 1955. You know, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know. And another thing that I've been appreciating too is a lot of snooker that I've been seeing on the internet. You know, a lot more snooker.
Snooker's a great game, but it's hard for us Americans to watch it. It really is.
I'm a British citizen originally, so I mean, I kind of grew up with snooker before American pool, so I've been really appreciating it. But a couple of pool players I've been talking to said they've been watching a lot of. Tony from Tiger Products. All right, I talked to him. He goes, you know, I've been watching a lot of snooker lately. I was like, really?
Right.
He's like, yeah, maybe we can go to the green room. You know, like it's a room.
I watched a 14-year-old girl in I don't know if it was in the UK or if it was in China somewhere.
Yeah.
She ran the whole table.
Yeah. Oh,
on
wow.
a
Was she
6
got a
by 12.
maximum? She got a
That was
maximum.
pretty. That was unbelievable.
She. You said she was European, Russian?
She's an Asian girl, but I
Oh,
don't know if it
Asian.
was in the UK that it actually took place or in China somewhere. But she ran the entire table. Guy broke, and she ran every ball off.
Full
All
clearance,
15
huh?
carries. Oh, it was fantastic.
Was it a maximum black red the whole way, or was it
She
just
had a few pinks. She had
full
a
clearance?
few. Yeah, I think she definitely ran somewhere around probably about 130 and out 140, something
Good.
like that.
Wow, that's amazing. I'll have to
Yeah,
look at
it
that.
was.
Yeah. Well,
Daniel, I gotta let you go too.
hey, buddy, I'm all about it, man. This camera conked out on me hours ago, so and I don't want to hold
Okay,
these people hostage any longer. I want to thank you, man, for popping in and talking to me
absolutely.
and catching up with some of the people out there that know who you are and care about these pool rooms, because these are the guys. These are the first guys, you know, besides the actual victims of coronavirus that you know are getting hurt by this virus. You know, the next victims in line are people like you. So
Yeah.
you know,
Listen, Daniel, you have a happy but safe Thanksgiving,
you too.
uh, and I'll talk to you in a week or two.
All right, and love to Peggy Matchin as well.
I will. Yes, thank you.
And I do want to come up. Call me, and we'll arrange a time to
Yeah,
come up and play some pool together. Okay.
very good. Okay,
All right,
thank
Jerry.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, everybody. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I am sorry that I lost picture on my end, but you know, that's how it is with live events. Sometimes technical issues do sometimes take place. Thanks to everybody for all of their questions. I am sorry if I wasn't able to address everybody's comments in the chat room, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in. You know, I've had a lot on my mind lately when it comes to pool and billiards, and I've been hearing a lot of stuff and a lot of people running around, just like it's business as usual. But you know, things are changing. Things have changed, and you know, we just got to be careful. We've got to be kind to one another, and we've got to start sort of like thinking about each other and not so much thinking about ourselves. After all, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and this is a great time to pause and you know, stop just reacting to everything that we see in the media. Stop reacting to just you know, uh, all of the messages that we're hearing from people. You know, come to your own conclusions, and you know, we don't always have to broadcast our opinions every single minute of the day. All right, so just love one another, and we'll catch you on the next one. I don't know when I'm going to be live again. I've canceled all my events due to coronavirus, and you know, a couple of people have stepped in my place. uh, Ben Sutherland is doing the three cushion event at Tucson in January, and you know, I don't know what's going to happen with the Andy Mercer next year, but unless something changes, unless we start to see this vaccine get implemented quickly, you know, I may not even do the Andy Mercer event. I have also turned down other events in Las Vegas. I want to give a shout out to the people in Las Vegas. I also, you know, wanted to say hi to Jack Murray and Katie Scott and all the guys out there, Ryan DeBerg, Jimmy Mattia, you know, Gino Hill, and my condolences to Gino and his family, who lost his brother Gordy several months ago. Not to coronavirus, but I think it was a brain tumor. So my deepest sympathies to them and my condolences. And to all of you out there, I want to wish you guys a very happy Thanksgiving. All right, so keep loving pool for what it's worth. And, you know, if you can ever donate to POVPOOL, POVPOOL at gmail.com. Gladly accept any PayPal donations on your behalf. So thank you very much. And Stay in touch. Bye bye.